we start.
Mm-hmm.
So let me put it out when I get the
What's
notification.
good, y'all? Welcome to the stream. We're gonna let some people get in here real quick.
Let me get the notification, man, so I can share it. Oh yeah, I just got it.
Bet,
What's
bet.
good, y'all, man? Welcome to the stream.
Hell to them skins.
Oh, it's actually not that bad on my phone. The
Okay, bet,
quality of it. Yeah, it's not that bad. All
bet.
right, so let me share this. Share this out right quick.
So we got 11 people. What's up, Talon? What's up, Trucker? Trucker said, "Let Trent Williams let the door hit him." Trent the crybaby. HTTR Tab King. What's good? What's good? What's up, Lorenzo? Gang, gang. Hell to them skins. Gang, gang. Yes, sir. Hope everybody's staying safe out there during this quarantine, man. Everybody stay safe. Make sure you wash your hands and do all that stuff. Good hygiene, I'm telling y'all.
Keep that hand sanitizer on y'all, man, at all
Yeah.
times.
Okay.
All time.
All right, but we got 43 people in here, so we'll get it started. What's
Yeah,
up, Andrew?
man.
What's up, man? All right, so we got special guest Juan Gotti talking sports, man.
What's
So
up, y'all? What's up, man?
yes,
Excited to
sir.
be on, talk some skins, man. The draft is in 8-9 days. Jay, we already know who we get in the first round. Third round, fourth round is where it gets exciting. First round is where we know who we're getting. Second round, I'm hoping that we get a pick for Trent Williams, which is seeming like it's going to be. I want the Browns pick, but it seems like the Vikings is the only one that's really offering us something. So we going to see, man. But that boy Chase Young, I want to give him a happy birthday, 21st birthday. And, man, hey, he going to tear it up this season.
Yeah.
Going to tear it up this season, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, Juan, we'll start with some questions about you, man. What made you want to start YouTube?
All right. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
Yeah. We'll go off of that.
All right. So basically, I already had a channel, but I didn't talk sports. And I loved my channel that I did at first, but talking sports is just what I love to do, and it's just what I wanted to do. And crazy thing is, EDP, you know who EDP is. I'm pretty sure y'all know who EDP is. I love this channel, and he just really made me want to talk sports. Him, you, of course, and then I seen how a lack of Redskins YouTubers that it was. So I was like, why not put myself out there? And it's starting to pay off, man. I really love what I do, and I hope to do this as a job one day. I see myself in a couple years being as a JP Finley when I do get older. I want to be a JP Finley for the Redskins one day. And then after that, maybe broaden out to a bigger brand, such as an ESPN and an NFL network and stuff like that. So, yeah, man, that's what really made me want to start.
Okay. Yeah, for sure, man. I'm telling you, man. Because ESPN, they don't care about the Redskins, man. They don't care about the Redskins. So we got to do a big. There are some up and coming YouTubers though. So Juan, tell us where you're from, man. Do you play any sports, anything like that?
All right, so I'm from PG County, Maryland. I currently live in PG County, Maryland, man. I play sports. I play baseball for my school, and I'm playing for a summer team this year and next year, of course. And this little virus had to start to happen right when our season was starting. So now I don't have no season now. So I just have endless time on my hand to talk about sports. And yeah, man. So I play baseball and stuff like that. So
okay. That's a bet. So today's show, we definitely want to talk about Trent Williams. We want to talk about a trade scenario that I saw come up. We do want to speak on that. But I'll ask you some questions about this all season so far. So my first question is, how did you feel about the free agency? If you had to give this year's free agency a grade, what grade would you give? What's up, Pedro? What's up, man? What grade would you give the moves that Ron and Kyle Smith made this all season so far?
All right, so let me start with this. So I did make a video on me grading the scale, like on an A through E scale of this free agency. Now, when I first initially started free agency and we started free agency, I was a little mad that we didn't go out the big names that we were going to get, as such as Austin Hooper, Amari Cooper, James Bradbury. We had all this money and we had all this news saying that we were going to get these players, but then we didn't. We started signing for depth. But then as I start to understand Ron's plan as the days progressed in free agency, I started to understand that he wants to build depth. He wants to get our star players through the draft, and he wants to use free agency as well, especially this year's free agency, as depth moves and signing depth players. And then maybe 2021 free agency is where we start to sign the big players and the big names. So I loved what Ron Rivera did. Now that I look back and understand it, but in the heat of the moment when we're signing guys like Thomas Davis is a good signing, but other guys that we don't really know of, as like a Pierre Lewis and stuff like that, we were like, come on, man, why are we signing these players when we need to sign big names that's still out there? Now, we did sign Kendall Fuller, which was a good signing, but we were looking at why didn't we re-sign Eric Flowers, and give him that extra $2 million that he wanted. So we was like, why are they being stingy and we have all this money? But now that the free agency is over, we understand what their plan was. So the overall grade that I give them is probably like a C, a high C, low B. Only that because I still feel as if though that they could have did something better as far as getting more talent. Now I can say this about Ron Rivera: we thought he was just being selfish and wasn't being as impactful that we thought he was going to do in free agency. But we did find out that he was trying to get Amari Cooper, and he thought Austin Hooper was just not as talented as we thought he was, and we didn't think the Redskins weren't as into Austin Hooper as we thought. Now, about the Amari Cooper situation, I'm kind of happy that we didn't pay him $110 million because, come on, man, we know he drops passes in clutch time. So I'm glad we didn't give him that $110 million, man, because he doesn't deserve it. I'm glad Dallas overpaid for him, and now they barely have enough money to pay Dak. So give Dak all that money so y'all can build for the future, man. So that's just, I grade the free agency a C, and a low B, man. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, I pretty much echo the same thing you said. I feel like a C plus B minus, because when you have a young quarterback like a Dwayne Haskins, I feel like you need a veteran wide receiver. We could have possibly gotten Emmanuel Sanders, Robbie Anderson, or there's some other guys out there that we could have got. I mean, I'm happy, like you said, I'm happy we missed out on Amari Cooper, because paying him $23 million a year against $20 million that the Cowboys gave him, that's way too much bread for Amari Cooper. So I'm kind of happy we missed out. Now, not getting also Hooper, that's what made me a little upset. I heard they only offer $8 million, where the Browns offered about $11 million or $10 million, something like that. I feel like we could have went a little bit harder after Austin Hooper. Now, how do you feel about the Ronald Darby signing?
No, the Ronald Darby signing, he's another, DMV native, and which is cool and all. But I mean, I don't think he's going to be as bad as people think. I think he's actually going to be, considering the fact that we don't have that many corners and we just got rid of Quentin Dunbar, I think he's actually going to be a starter on this team. I think he will be better in this fit. And we all know I'm not hating on the Eagles. I hate the Eagles, but I'm going to be as serious, and I'm not going to use that as my, as I talk and make my point here. The Eagles has always struggled with making their secondary good. We know they always have notable players. Ronald Darby, before he went to the Eagles, he was with the Bills, and he played outstanding alongside Stephon Gilmore. He was good, but the Eagles just always make their cornerback and their secondary bad. Man, we know the last best cornerback that they had was Asante Samuel, but we always know over these years they always have a bad secondary. And then on top of that, he's hurt. He's like a Dunbar. He's always hurt. But then when he is healthy and he's in a good scheme, he does do well, man. But I think he's considering the fact that we don't have a good secondary, he will be a starter on this team. I like the signing. It's decent. It's not really too bad. And then on top of the people that don't like the signing, we literally only signed him for $4 million a year for 1 year. And who's to say that he makes the roster this season, man? He could get cut at training camp. So I think it's a good signing, man. It's a win-win situation, man. We're not hurting in our pockets, and it's only a 1 year deal, man. So I like the signing. It's not nothing to be too upset about.
Do you feel like we should have went after Bashaud Breeland instead, or are you cool with Darby?
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, we know how poor Breeland played in DC. I think Breeland is good in Kansas City. He needs to stay in Kansas City because whatever system they are running in Kansas City is making him excellent, because he's good in Kansas City. I think if he just comes back here, maybe now that it's a new regime, maybe he'll play well, but we will never know. We know how poor he played when he was with the Redskins. He had a couple flashes here and there, but he was never just that consistent top corner that he kind of is in Kansas City now.
Right, that's facts. Now, Darby got about $4 million. I think $1 million is guaranteed, if I'm not mistaken. And Brashad Breeland just got a deal for about the same amount of money. So
Right.
it's debatable. I mean, I wouldn't have been mad if we went after both because I know we still have about $24 million in cap space. But I think we're going to draft a corner. Ronald Darby, who knows? Another man's trash could be another man's trash, just like Eric Flowers. We moved him to the guard spot. Eric Flowers used to be the human turntable, and next thing you know, Eric Flowers was almost kind of a Pro Bowl guard. So, and like you said, Darby's from PG County. He's from what part of Potomac, Maryland. So, good guy. I think he can do well. It's just you look at the matchups. He's going to be guarding Amari Cooper, so it's going to be tough. But we are going to be relying on Chase Young for our defense. Now, let's get to another corner. And I know this is old news, but we'll chop it up about this too. How do you feel about the Quentin Dunbar trade? Do you feel like we got swindled with the trade? Do you think it was a good trade? Or, tell me how you feel about that. You don't have to give a grade if you don't want to, but how do you feel about that Quentin Dunbar trade?
All right, so I'm gonna give you two stances on here. One from a Redskins standpoint, and one from an NFL or the Seahawks standpoint. Okay, so from a Redskins fan standpoint, as I am, I feel like we did get robbed. We should have at least got a third round pick for Quentin Dunbar. But at the same time, you gotta realize what the Seahawks was like. They're like, who is Quentin Dunbar? We don't know who Quentin Dunbar is. He doesn't have that word, clout in the NFL as some other cornerback. So the other teams don't know how good Quentin Dunbar really is. Although he might be like great cornerback for us, and we know how good he is, we know how talented he is. For other teams, he may not be that talented, or they don't know that he's that talented. So why would they, give up something as big as a third round and second round, considering the fact that they know how deep this class is? So as a Redskins fan, of course, I feel like that we got robbed. But from a Seahawks fan or like a regular NFL fan, I can understand why they didn't give up so much. And like what, a fourth round pick was it? Fifth round pick for Quentin Dunbar, was it? I can understand why they didn't give that, or they just gave that up, because they're like, who is this guy? Number one, he's injury prone. Like I said, he doesn't have that cornerback clout that Stephon Gilmore has, or one of the top corners in the league has. So they're like, we don't know how talented he is, but us Redskins fans know. So that's why I can see why Redskins fans feel like they got robbed. But yeah, of course I do feel like we got robbed. I think we should have at least got a third round pick for him.
Right. I felt the exact same way on that one. I was pretty pissed off when I heard about the trade. And he's going to a team that's going to be in the playoffs. Like, he's going to be playing with Russell Wilson and them boys over there. Now, like you said, I feel like we should have at least got a fourth. But I understand, the way Dunbar kind of handled everything wasn't the best way. He was a disgruntled player. Ron, he's just not playing that right now. He wants to get guys up out of here. Same thing with Trent. He wants to get Trent out of here, but he doesn't want to get swindled for Trent. That's for sure. Now, Quentin Dunbar didn't have a lot of leverage because of the injuries, and he had one really, really stellar year last year. And it was on a bad team. We were 3-13. But Quentin Dunbar is legit, man. I'm pretty mad he's gone. But we all know, all Redskins fans know what happened behind closed doors, and his Twitter rants, his Twitter fingers and talking and stuff like that.
Right.
So I really don't know what happened with Quentin Dunbar. He kind of changed up. I don't know what happened with that one. But the next one I want to talk about, Trent Williams. Actually, somebody brought something up in the comments too. Okay, so how would you feel if the Redskins actually did draft Tua? Now, I don't even entertain this stuff because ESPN, they do crazy stuff like that. How would you feel if the Redskins drafted Tua?
I would be hurt. First of all, I would be livid that we passed up on that Chase Young. Chase Young is going to go to the Giants, and he's going to literally kill our offensive line next year. He's going to make us pay for not drafting him. And then second of all, I don't like Tua as a lot of people like Tua, man. In that one workout video he showed, he still looked a little stiff in the hips. He's a left-handed quarterback, which is, rare nowadays. And I'm just not a big fan of Tua, man. He has a lot of injuries, and he's small. And if we drafted him, that would be dumb. We don't have a top tier offensive line, so this dude would get killed. We know how many hits Dwayne Haskins took, but Dwayne Haskins is a bigger quarterback, so he can eat those hits. Tua would literally get killed behind his offensive line, and I think he just won't be a good fit for this team. And I think that ESPN and all the top, brands just do it just because it's dry now. With no sports on. They just want to make a
Right.
story so they can get reviews. I don't think they really think we're going to get Tua. Tua would not be a good fit here, man. He needs to go to another team like maybe the Dolphins, for an example. Well, he needs to go to the Dolphins because they're one quarterback shy of making the playoffs, or at least getting to the playoffs, considering the fact all the moves that they made in this free agency, and they have 3 first-round picks. So I don't think Tua needs to be here, and I would literally, see another. You'll see another side of me that you don't see if we draft Tua. Man. I'm trying to tell you, man, you don't want that to happen. That's gonna be ugly.
Would you have a crazy reaction? I mean, we all know that Dwayne is supposed to be at the virtual draft party. If you guys don't know, the Redskins are having a virtual draft party where you can RSVP online and watch that. I will be having my own live stream, so I mean, you can dibble dabble back and forth. But we all know Dwayne Haskins is invited to the draft. I mean, he's going to be on the stream at the draft party. It's going to be him, Ron Rivera, and I think Kyle Smith and some other guys on there. So if the Redskins ended up drafting Tua, that would be kind of weird for Haskins because he'd be on the stream. He'd be doing an interview or talking with Redskins fans. And next thing you know, he'd be like, the Redskins select Tua, and then your job is gone. If they select Tua, you would have to trade Dwayne Haskins. So that would be a weird situation right there. So another question I got is, how do you feel about the trade for Kyle Allen? Do you think we got robbed out of the 5th round pick? Do you think it was a good move? Do you think Kyle Allen even has a chance to compete with Dwayne? A lot of people out here saying, we'll talk about D'Angelo Hall a little bit later in the show.
Man,
but
D'Angelo Hall is a fool, man. He's a fool. Hey, like I said, he's not with the Redskins anymore. So money's probably looking a little tight right now.
Right.
So he works for he talks about sports for a brand now alongside his real estate business that he does. So he probably needed a story too. His boss probably said, "Hey, D'Angelo, man, we need a story." So he probably just wanted to make up something that knew was going to get clicks. Now about the Kyle Allen trade, I don't think we got robbed. Now, if we wouldn't have got that 5th round pick back from Seattle, I would have said we got robbed for it. But I don't think we got robbed for it only because we got the 5th round pick back. Now, does Kyle Allen have a shot? Of course he has a shot because, Dwayne Haskins still isn't proven. And then on top of that, it's a whole new coaching staff. We don't know how trusted he is under Ron Rivera. And Ron Rivera is, of course, Kyle Allen's guy. So of course, he has a shot now. Do I think he's going to win it? No, because Dwayne Haskins is obviously more talented than this kid, Kyle Allen or whatever. But if it's a shorter, training camp, they did say he will be the starter. So I'm praying that it's not a shortened training camp. I'm praying that this thing is over by the time training camp is started, because I think Dwayne Haskins will blow this kid out of the water if they both have a fair shot at getting the starting job. Kyle Allen, he did have the Panthers at a 5-2 start last year. Well, when he filled in for Cam Newton 5-2, and then he railed off towards the end of the season. So he's not all complete trash, but I think Dwayne Haskins is just a better talent than Kyle Allen. So yeah.
All right, guys. So thank you, Sam Dahl, for something to the channel. I got a super chat somewhere in here too. Gotta get to that. Thank you, Oscar Josue Montiel. Thank you for the donation. Appreciate you, big dog. Shout out to Sam Dahl. He's a Seahawks fan, so he got Quentin. They got Quentin Dunbar, so I know he's a happy guy. I told him that Quentin Dunbar is a really, really good corner. He's just not always healthy. When he is healthy, he's good. But make sure you sub up on Gotti. I did put the link in the stream. My take on the Kyle Allen trade, we all made videos about that. The way I feel about Kyle Allen, I actually think he's not that bad. I think he's actually a decent quarterback. I think he won his first 3 or 4 games with Ron Rivera and Scott Turner. So he does have a small leg up on Haskins only because of the playbook. Of course, the talent, Haskins is up here with talent. Kyle Allen's all the way down here with the talent scale. But the unfair advantage, of course, is the playbook. He knows Scott Turner's play. He knows Eric Coryell offense. He knows the playbook. He knows how Ron Rivera is. So he kind of does have like a little teeny advantage. But like I said, the talent is all the way up here, but the talent for Kyle Allen is like all the way down here. So, but yeah, D'Angelo Hall, he kind of is selling out. He is a sellout. Now, what pissed me off about him is talking about when Dwayne Haskins doesn't have the competition thing. He said these young guys don't want to compete. So he really went to Haskins' neck, and that kind of made me upset about that. I feel like D'Angelo Hall is just trying to stir the pot and just kind of, following the word of let's get these ratings, let's get these views, man. And you're just going to come out and kind of be like a hater on Dwayne Haskins. This is how I feel about the situation. But it is what it is. He's got to make his money and stir the pot and all that. So I'm just hoping Dwayne Haskins really proves everybody wrong out there. So Of course, another question out there circulating on ESPN. Um, I know you saw Stephen A. talked about it, Dan Orlovsky and Max Kellerman and all those guys yesterday. You know, they were talking about it. So if you had to compare, who do you think will have a better second season? Will it be Dwayne Haskins or Danny Fumbles?
Now, okay, let me get straight, because a lot of people is giving the leg up on Daniel Jones now, comparing their rookie seasons. Now, let me say this to Giants fans and Daniel Jones fans. Daniel Jones was supposed to have a better season than Dwayne Haskins. He was put in the better situation for Dwayne Haskins. His quarterback, his coach actually wanted him. Dwayne Haskins, Jay
Right.
Gruden, they didn't want Dwayne Haskins. So he was supposed to have a better rookie season than Dwayne Haskins. If he didn't, then that would have just been like, why did we draft this guy? So
Right.
I feel like this is going to be the year that you can, based off the comparison, because they both will be the starting quarterbacks for their team. He played what, like 16, well, what, 13 games. Haskins played 9.
Right.
So he's supposed to have a better season than Haskins. Now, going into the second season, I'm thinking Haskins has the leg up, only because now with us getting Chase Young, Daniel Jones had 13 fumbles last year and 5 interceptions, 13 fumbles with no Chase Young and with a developing Montez Sweat. Now just imagine with a good Montez Sweat, because we know he turned up towards the end of the season last year. Now building off of that, going into the 2020 season with a dominant Chase Young, he's not going to have no time. He's never going to hold on to that ball. It's going to be probably 25 plus fumbles this year, considering the fact that he's not going to have no time. Now, with the Eagles and the Cowboys, he's probably going to carve them up. But with us, that's not going to happen. And I'm being unbiased, by the way. Now, he's going to get some plays where they're going to kill us, because how weak our secondary is, and when they double team Chase Young and or Montez Sweat. Now, he's going to have his plays here and there. But I don't think he's going to be better than Dwayne Haskins, man, because Dwayne Haskins he has the arm talent over Daniel Jones. Now, the only thing that Daniel Jones probably has over him is maybe his mobility and maybe just an edge in accuracy. I don't think so, though. I think Dwayne Haskins, when he has time, we've seen what he does. He carves up teams. He goes 7 for 7 on drives. It was a one game. I think it was the Giants or Eagles game. Can't remember. I think it was the Giants game where he almost went a whole quarter without not throwing an incomplete pass. So I think Dwayne Haskins is better than Daniel Jones. I think it's going to be a good rivalry for the next 20 plus years, man. So not saying Daniel Jones is all bad, but I just give the edge to Dwayne Haskins.
Right. That's right. Shout out to some people in the stream. Shout out Jimbo, HTTR, Samuel Brent. Yes, the Giants do suck. Shout out Pedro. Make sure you sub up his channel. Shout out Andre.
Pedro.
Yeah, my guy Pedro. He's coming in hot with the videos, man. Sam Dog. Yes, we do want Chase Young at number 2. Let's see who else is in here. Crazy Dog 99. What's up, man? He said Chase Young is going to eat Danny Dimes for lunch. We don't call him Danny Dimes over here. We call him Danny Fumbles. That's his name over here.
Danny Fumbles. Danny Interceptions.
Yes, sir. And the picks. And the picks. So we'll get back to Redskins talk here. What do you think is our biggest team need? Like positions, do you think it's corner? Do you think it's receiver? Do you think it's left tackle? What position do you think is the biggest need on the team right now?
Now, with that, I think it's going to be tight end. At first, I was like tackle, but I think the guy that we got is 6'8". I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now. He's
Cornelius Lucas.
Cornelius Lucas. There we go. Yep, Cornelius Lucas. He's 6'8". It's no reason that he shouldn't be starting this year. He can play offensive tackle, so that's left and right tackle. So I think if we plug him in at left tackle, he can maybe hold his ground, re-sign Donald Penn maybe, or go out and get Jason Peters. Then he could hold it down for another year, and then maybe when we do get I want to say we're going to probably have like the 10th pick next year, somewhere on there, the mid pick, like how we used to. Then we can get a left tackle next year, maybe, if it goes bad. I think the biggest need right now in this draft is definitely tight end, of course, because when Dwayne Haskins has a tight end, we know how dominant he is, and he did not have that at all last year. Right. And I think having an explosive tight end is going to help in the run game and or pass game to get Steven Sims open, Kelvin Harmon, and or Terry McLaurin and himself, whoever we draft that is. So I think tight end is the biggest need.
Okay. I 100% agree with you. I think Jeremy Sprinkle doesn't work for me. He had butter hands last year. Couldn't catch anything. Couldn't catch a cold. He was almost as bad as Josh Doxson. That's how bad he was last year. Hale Hinches. I like Hale Hinches. And the guys that we added, Richard Rodgers was on IR last year. Didn't even play a game. Logan Thomas is a project. So, I mean, tight end is a huge question mark. That's something that Haskins really needs. Tap King, yes, I feel like Jeremy Sprinkle's a bum. But I don't want to give up on the guy yet. I want to give him maybe one more shot. But if it was up to me, I would probably cut him in training camp and keep Hale Hinches, and then maybe draft 2 tight ends. Who knows? So next question here: would you? This is about the draft here. Now a lot of Redskins fans are torn on this. I think it's 60% keep Chase Young, and then if you do get an RG3 kind of haul of picks that we gave to the Rams, some people are like, yeah, we should trade back. Now I want to get your opinion on this one. Say if the Dolphins gave us pick 5, pick 18, pick 25, and then one of their second rounders, would you take that deal, or would you stay at number 2 and just stay with Chase Young?
This answer is self-explanatory. You know who my guy is. I'm not going against Chase Young. I'm sorry. I can't go against Chase Young. We know how dominant he is, right? We don't even have to speak on that. And then not to say that Jeff Okudah and all the other guys they're going to be great players, but you cannot pass up on that generational talent. You cannot pass up on that generational talent. I think that he will be an instant Pro Bowler in his rookie year. Even if he wasn't coming to the Redskins and he was going to another team, I still would say that. So don't think I'm being biased when I say this. I think Chase Young will be the move, and he is the move, and I decline every trade back offer unless it's something that's like just too good to pass up on. A little 5, 18, and 26 is not good enough for me and a couple second rounders. I need more than that. Other than that, it's Chase Young. And even if we do get something like that, it's still Chase Young. That's how good he is. Haven't seen a player like this since Julius Peppers maybe. And other than that, yeah, man, I'm getting Chase Young.
Right.
Simple.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. Shout out to Alexander Wilson with the donation. Opinions on everybody saying Allen will start. Now we did just talk about that a couple minutes ago, but like I said, like Juan said, I really think Haskins is going to start. I said the talent for Haskins is up here, and the talent for what's his name, Kyle Allen, is down here. So that's just how I feel about it. Now, like I said, Kyle Allen does have an advantage, and with the pandemic going on, he knows the playbook, which it is going to be hard for Haskins to get the playbook down. What's his name, Kyle Allen knows Scott Turner, he knows Ron Rivera, he knows the Air Coryell offense. He's familiar with those guys and how they talk and the language of the playbook and things like that. So Kyle Allen does have that advantage. He did win his first 4 games with the Panthers. So I mean, I'm not gonna say Kyle Allen is terrible, like he's a Blake Bortles or like he's a Ryan Leaf or a terrible quarterback or something, like a Mark Sanchez quarterback. But I just feel like Haskins really should win this battle now. I feel like Haskins is going to win. Now, like I said, I don't agree with D'Angelo Hall's comments, but yeah, Juan, you can answer this question too.
So, like I said, I think that Haskins will be getting the edge, and like Ed already said, only advantage that he really has over Haskins is the playbook, the Air Coryell playbook, Scott Turner's version, of course. And I think other than that, Haskins have him beat in every other category: arm strength, accuracy, and mobility. And that says a lot because Haskins isn't really a mobile quarterback, so he has the advantage over Kyle Allen. So of course, I want, and I believe that Haskins will be the starting quarterback for Washington Redskins come opening day, unless it is a shortened training camp.
Right. All right. Shout out to Jaha Seal, Merlos with the donation. Said HTTR. Nice to see the home team getting some love. Make sure you guys sub up Juan Gotti. I did put his link in the stream. I'll probably put it in there again. Somebody said Alex Smith's gonna retire. So, I'll ask you that question real quick, and I got another question lined up. How do you feel about Alex Smith? Do you think he's ever gonna play football again, or if he even became healthy again, would you try to trade him for, say, like a 4th round pick or 3rd or 5th or something like that?
I would trade him for anything. Honestly, we need to get him off the books. He's
Mhm.
really clogging up a lot and taking up a lot of money. And if I'm Alex Smith, I'm not playing it down in football again, no matter how healthy I get. I'm racking up all this money, not even doing anything. And even on top of that, it's not just about the money. Why would you want to put your body through that again? I know you hated the recovery process, and he really wants to come back and play to prove everyone wrong. But I don't think that's what you should live for, man. You had a great career, and you just need to call it quits, man. You retire healthy, right? You have all this money to spend and go do with your family. 30 plus years old is old in sports, but in real life, you're still relatively young in real life. So go enjoy your life, man, with all that money. If I'm him and I have all this money, I'm not putting my body on that line again, man. To have another chance of breaking your leg, you can be playing football one day and never again the next day. So considering the fact that you had that experience already, why would you want to put your body through that again, man? So I'm retiring and I'm cutting him or trading him, whatever we have to do to get him off the
Mhm.
books. So yeah,
Right.
man.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if he wants to get traded, if he still wants to play and we get some trade offers, I wouldn't mind trading him. I'd probably take a fifth or a fourth. I thought the Bears would be trying to get him, but the Bears got what's his name, Nick Foles. So
Mm-hmm.
there might be another team that wants Alex Smith. You just never know. So if he does want to
Mm-hmm.
play again, I wouldn't let him play. But if he wants to get traded, I would surely go ahead and trade that man. Now, say hypothetically, knock on wood. I don't want the Redskins to trade the pick back, but say if we do get that haul from the Dolphins, we'll just do picks 5, 18, and 25. Who do you think we would be able to get at pick 5, pick 18, and pick 25 if the Redskins hypothetically did trade back?
Okay, so now I'm gonna give you two answers for the number 5 pick, just the number 5 pick.
Hmm.
Number 5, I believe that we should take Jeffrey Okuda because I
Okay.
mean we need help at the cornerback position, and
Hmm.
now that's probably going to be the best player available at that time, and I believe that he's really talented, man. And I don't like it when a lot of people say Chase build him all the time, and Andor when people say Jeffrey Okuda build Chase out all the time because he without him locking up the wide receiver for that amount of time, Chase won't be able to get them sacks. I think
Hmm.
both of these gentlemen are really talented in their own ways. And then on top of that, if he's not there or if he is still there, I feel like that the Giants would do another dumb move like they did last year when everyone they thought they were going to get Josh Allen and or Dwayne Haskins, they got Daniel Jones. So if the Giants pull off another move like that and we did trade back, I would get Isaiah Simmons because Isaiah Simmons is very versatile. And I think he is probably the only other player than Chase Young and or Joe Burrow. He's probably one of the best player in this draft, or
Hmm.
the best player in the draft, I should say.
Right. I think we would have to go with Okuda too because I don't think Isaiah Simmons is going to be there at 5. If we did trade back, we got 18, 25 and 5. Somebody said CD Lamb at 18. I don't know if CD Lamb is going to be there at 18, but Cole Kmet at 25 would be a good one. Samuel Brent. Sagnacia John said, "This is the last year for Darius Geis for me." So that's another question I had on the list too. How do you feel about the running back room? How
Mm-hmm.
do you feel about we'll do one at a time. How do you feel about the addition of Peyton Barber, the addition
Okay.
of JD McKissick, and then you can speak on Darius Geis. How do you feel about Darius Geis? Do you feel like is he one more injury away from being in the XFL? Do you think he do and only time will tell. We're not future tellers here. You know, me, I like Geis, but I'll ask you the question. And you can talk about Adrian Peterson as well. How do you feel about the running back room?
Mm-hmm.
How much of a leash do you give Darius Geis? Now, if Darius Geis has an MCL injury, ACL, knock on wood, because I don't want to jinx the guy. If he has another injury, what would you do moving forward with Darius Geis, and how do you feel Darius Geis is going to have a year in 2020 coming up?
Oh, okay, so with Darius Geis, I'm not giving him just one more year. Honestly, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
because we know how talented he is. He is very young, and maybe just if he gets another injury this year, then you let him go. Other than that, I'm not. I'm keeping him for one more year after that because when Darius Geis is healthy, we know how good he is. Must I say the Panthers game where he literally ran that game literally by himself. He carried us on the back, and yes, man, him and AP both went for over 100 yards that game. As you get a donation, if you want to read that, you can read that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, read that if you want to.
Oh yeah, thank you, Alex, for the donation. Shout out to Alexander Wilson. It's because they're going to keep Alex Smith because they will receive an extra 15 mil in cash space in 2021 for the insurance on him. Thank you for the good info,
Okay,
man.
cool.
I mean, yeah, I would do the same. I think Alex Smith is going to get a GM spot after leaving here. They said him and his wife are like really good friends with Dan Snyder. They're like best buds. I remember at the end of the games, like he was in the press box like every game. He looked like he was another manager up there for real. And for real. So I feel like Alex Smith is definitely after he's done here, he'll definitely have a job in the front office for real. And he's a good mentor for Dwayne Haskins. I would like to keep Alex Smith around. I think he's a good guy. I think he's a humble guy. I think he's a nice guy. I think he's a check down quarterback. If he didn't get hurt, we probably were going to be in the playoffs. I think we're going to be 9-7 if Alex Smith didn't get hurt. But he's a check down quarterback. Every time Alex Smith is on the team, his job is always taken. Colin Kaepernick took his job. Pat Mahomes took his job, and now hopefully Dwayne Haskins will be the guy to take the job that Alex Smith used to have. So, but yeah, we'll get back to the Darius guys. You can start where you left off at.
Okay, so with Darius, guys, like I was saying, we know how good he is. The Panthers game, the Green Bay game, before he did get hurt in that game, he's just a great talent. He's a great talent, man. He can literally be a workhorse. I can see him being a top 3, top 5 running back in the near future if he does stay healthy, man. Darius, guys, he's just really good, and I'm keeping on to Darius, guys, for at least 2 more years because he's not taking up that much money, and then on top of that, he's just too good of a talent to pass up on. He was supposed to be a first round draft pick, but we know his attitude isn't the best. But he hasn't actually shown his attitude problems with the Redskins so far. So Darius, guys, I'm keeping on to him. Adrian Peterson, a lot of people get Adrian Peterson mixed up saying that he's injury prone. Maybe he was with the Vikings, but he's literally made out of steel with the Redskins. He hasn't had one injury problem. He did have the shoulder, I think I remember, but I heard he popped it back in place and then got back the very next play, if not the very next play, the next drive. So he had one significant injury that I could really remember with the Redskins. And other than that, he's relatively healthy. And he's like, 35, 34 years old, 35 to when the start of the season is going to come. And he's still running like he's 28, 25. Adrian Peterson is still a workhorse. He's not causing that much money. So why are we not keeping on to him, man? I don't understand why people are saying we need to get rid of him. He's literally the best running back on this team. Now, as far as Peyton Barber goes, I don't really know a lot about Peyton Barber. Other than that, he's a really good, decent running back. Now, J.D. McKissick is the guy that I really love the signing about. I think he can be the new Chris Thompson. And he's better than Chris Thompson because we rarely move Chris Thompson to the slot sometimes, and he can go out and play the slot as a wide receiver, so he can really beat them linebackers and some safeties in games. And then imagine him and Sims in the backfield in some formations. That would really be deadly with speed. And so I think I really love the J.D. McKissick move, and we're getting Bryce Love back next year. Bryce Love is really going to be good next year, and he's really good in his senior year, but he has some bad luck with getting hurt. So we're getting him back 100% healthy next year, and considering all this time that he has off due to the pandemic, he's going to really be 100%, 200% by the time he's on the field. So I love this running back room. It's not the best with the names. The 2 notable names is probably Adrian Peterson and Bryce Love, but you don't really need, or should I say Darius Geis, but you don't need a lot of notable name running backs, man. So we know how much a running back room carries the team. Must I say the 49ers last year, and Tevin Coleman, Matt Breida, and Raheem Mostert. So we know how good a good multiple running back room is for a team. So I love the running back room, man. We have a lot of depth, and we're really deep in that position. We do not need to touch that in the draft.
Right. Ready Red is a Cowboys fan. We got a Cowboys fan. We got a Cowgirls fan in the stream right now. Tell Dak and Zeke to stop having gatherings and parties so we can stay safe and get this through this pandemic, man. They had a freaking party with 30 plus people in there. What are these Cowboys doing, man? They can't even follow the rules and stay healthy. What's going on out here, man? Shout out to Alex Coy. He said Chris Thompson's always getting injured. So Chris Thompson's not coming back. J.D. McKissick, Samuel Brent, that was a good pickup. So about that, like you said, I agree with everything you said. Bryce Love should be really good next year, I think, if he can stay healthy. I really don't think Peyton Barber is going to make the team. If I had to say somebody's going to get cut, I think it's going to be Peyton Barber. I think the roster of running backs right now, I think we're going to keep 4 running backs. I would only keep 4. I keep Darius Geis. I keep AP. I keep J.D. McKissick and Bryce Love. So that would be my 4 running backs right there, and then Peyton Barber wouldn't make the team. Now I understand if somebody does get hurt, then maybe you can call Peyton Barber if you cut him. Maybe he might still be on waivers or something like that. So we'll see what's something about that. But Chris Thompson will be missed. He just couldn't stay healthy, man. I don't remember him really playing more than 12, 13 games for real. So I mean, it was time to really move on with that. So you hit Dak. Yeah, Bobby Scarborough said Dak was doing 30 months with his 30 buddies. Yeah, right. So and we'll talk about the wide receiver room. How do you feel about a wide receiver core? Do you think we needed to add another stud, or we're just going to find one in the draft? How do you feel about McLaurin? How do you feel about Steve Sims? How do you feel about Calvin? Calvin Harmon is probably the biggest question mark, and I'm a big Calvin Harmon fan, but he's the biggest question mark right now because, and we did add Cody Latimer. So let me know how you feel about the wide receiver room right now.
Okay, so before I get to that, I want to read this comment right by Samuel Brent. He says, J.D. McKissick is not better than Chris Thompson. Now, I didn't say he was better than him. I did say that he's a better slot. We didn't move Chris Thompson out to the slot as much, and he's better than him, more versatile because we could move him out to the slot. I didn't say he was a better downhill runner than Chris Thompson, but he's more versatile. That's what I was saying, so you might got it misconstrued. But now to the wide receiver room here, I really love the wide receiver room that we have. It's very young. And I think I'm a big fan of Kevin Harmon more than anyone else is really because there's a lot of people that want to move on from him. But I really think that he's not even a question mark in my opinion. This is just my opinion because he's really good. He showed flashes. He just didn't have the the shine that we need that he needed.
I'm sorry, Juan. Alice Coy, yes. Trey Quinn. I forgot to talk about Trey, and I actually forgot about talking about Cam Sims. So. Trey Quinn,
hey, that's how bad Trey Quinn is, man. He doesn't need no sympathy from us, man. Trey Quinn's not even gonna make the team, and I'll be surprised if he's on the team, not this year, but next year, man, because these wide receivers is really gonna be good, considering the fact that we're gonna draft another one. But like I was saying, was that Steven Sims, Terry McLaurin, and although Kevin Harmon, I was talking about Kevin Harmon, he's really going to be a good fit for this team. He just didn't have the shine and as he did last year. And Dwayne Haskins calls him Baby Julio, and he really does look like Julio Jones. His hands is outstanding, and it literally takes 2 people to tackle this man down. He literally drove at least 3 to 4 people to the goal line. I forgot what game that was. I think it was either the Lions game or the Giants game. One of those games where it took like 5 people to take him down. So he's strong. He has great hands. And I really think he will be the second receiver alongside Terry McLaurin. And then if we do draft one, I really think it should be in the 4th, 5th round where we draft Isaiah Hodgins from Oregon State. Now, that's really my guy. If you guys don't know who that is, go look up his highlights, Oregon State Isaiah Hodgins. He's really just like Terry McLaurin. They wear the same jersey number, and they have the same body shape, and they're both not really tall, but they can go up and get the ball. They can jump with the best in the game. He's really good. His route running is crisp, and he's really a deep ball threat for Dwayne Haskins. And that's going to be scary with him, Terry, and Steven Sims if we do draft him. But other than that, I see people talking about Michael Pittman. I'm not really a Michael Pittman fan as much as everyone else. He's really good, but I just don't think we should spend a 3rd round draft pick on him.
Right.
So, yeah.
All right, we'll get to Alex Wilson with the donation. Appreciate you, man, with another donation. He said, Haskins is Snyder's pick / guy. This is the same owner that allowed RG3 to tell Kyle and Matt LaFleur how to run an offense and ran them out of town. Yeah, I mean, Haskins is Snyder's guy. He's from Maryland. He went to Bullis. I think he went to school with Dan Snyder's son, if I'm not mistaken, went to high school at Bullis. So Haskins is the guy. So that's why when ESPN and Mel Kiper, silly people like that, somebody said 106 point the scam, the terrible radio station 106 point the scam. That's a good one. Whoever said that. Let me see who I forgot who said that one. But 106 points the scam said we're gonna get to it and dumb stuff like that. We know that's false. We're gonna stick with Haskins. We're gonna give Haskins another chance. And we'll see what the kid has with a playbook and a coach that actually believes in him. Landon Collins was on First Take. He said that Haskins will be a good quarterback if he has a coach that actually believes in the guy. We all know that the terrible Jay Gruden didn't believe in him. What's up, Dale Magana? And there is a report also coming out that the Redskins are going with the best player available Julie
Mhm.
Donaldson, the beat reporter, just said. I want to say she said that on Twitter. That's what I'm hearing. That's what my
Mhm.
sources are telling me right now. So, Juan, how do you
So
feel about the report?
now I just seen it by Redskins today.
Shout out to 301 Twan. My bad. Shout out to 301 Twan.
Shout out 301 Twan. Now, we know this. We know this for the past couple weeks as the draft been getting closer that we're going to be taking the Tua and the draft back scenarios has been dying down since we got closer to the draft, and it's been leading up more than to Chase Young. So I mean, it's not really too much to talk about here. The best player available at 2 will be Chase Young. So we're taking Chase Young. For all the people that want us to trade back, I'm sorry that it's not happening, but it's Chase Young. We don't even have to be surprised April 23rd, man. Chase Young is the pick. They're basically telling us without telling us that Chase Young is the pick.
Right. Now, I mean, that is a vague statement, but obviously Chase Young is the best player in the draft. I think he's a better player than Joe Burrow if you go pound for pound. I understand quarterback is the most important position in the game, but if you're thinking about a player like you looking at the NBA, point guard, center, I just think he's the best player throughout every position. I think he's just the best player available. You got to get the kid, somebody who grew up in your backyard, right down the street from FedEx Field. You cannot let talent like that just walk away. That would just be the dumbest thing we could ever do is not go with Chase Young. Shout out to On the Warpath. Make sure you guys sub up his channel. He said, hold those cards and no trades, hashtag HTTR. Shout out to
Now
him.
Beans says, "Hey, what you drinking in the Redskin cup?" That's what
Hey,
he want to
man.
know,
Hey,
man.
man. It's that special. It's that secret stuff, man. It's that secret stuff, man. It's that secret stuff, man. I'm telling you. But so let's finally get to what the title of Derek JB. You're a funny guy. You're funny, man. Typical Zach. LOL. I don't know why, but honestly, I don't feel like we're going to trade Trent anytime soon. Especially after. Thank you for saying that. We're about to talk about Trent Williams right now. This is what you guys have been waiting for. This is the title of the video as well. So now there was a and good question by Saganiza. We will get to that question next as well, and then we're going to talk about the draft after this one. This one, of course, is about the draft, but there was a trade scenario talking about Trent Williams that came out on ESPN. This is not a real trade scenario, but I think this is a legitimate, realistic trade scenario. I don't think we're gonna get a second round pick for Trent. Personally, I don't think we will. I think at best we would get a third round pick because of all the things that transpire. We all know that Bruce Allen messed up everything. We could have got a first round pick for Trent last year. We could have got a good player for Trent. We could have got a lot of things for Trent last year, but of course,
2 first round picks.
right? We could have even possibly gotten that. So this question right here. If you see the scenario, it was on Instagram, it was on Twitter, all that on ESPN. The Redskins, we would trade Trent Williams to the Minnesota Vikings, a playoff team, and we would get in return, we would get 2 fourth-round picks. We would get a 5th-round pick. So the 4th-round pick would be 112, another 132, round 5, pick 151, an offensive tackle, Riley Reef. Now, I'll talk to Alex Wilson real quick before we get to that question. Shout out to Alex Wilson for another
he on fire today,
hitting the threes, shooting them out there, man. My man looking like Bradley Bill out there, just shooting the threes. He's on fire right now. Shout out to my man Alex Wilson. He says a lot of the 106 point the scam guys went to the same high school as Chase Young. They are real cool people who live in DC. Yeah, so yeah, they did go to DeMatha. I think there are another group of guys that want to stir the pot. There are a lot of old guys that are casuals. I feel like they don't even really pay attention to the Redskins. None of those guys are Redskins fans. And unfortunately, I do watch them from time to time because I feel like they're force-fed to us. They're on NBC Sports Washington. And Redskins fans, we don't get a lot of media and things like that. So I don't watch ESPN because they never talk about the Redskins. So unfortunately, I do get some of my information or listen to them because, they do have guests on there like JP Finlay, who's not biased towards negative against Haskins, and John Keim. He's another good ESPN guy who's not negative and biased against Dwayne Haskins. But when I listen to those guys talk, they're usually negative about Haskins. They're usually biased against the guy. They don't want to give him a chance. They're biased against the team. They think we're going to lose every game. It's just disgusting sometimes. Listen to those guys talk about football and talk about the Redskins. So it's just disgusting sometimes. It's like, what are you guys talking about? It's like y'all don't even watch the team. They don't even know some of the guys' names on the team. Like, you guys are getting paid to do this, and you're not even doing your research on the team that you're supposed to be watching every week. And it's just disrespectful to me. And that's why I make a channel for myself. That's why guys like me and Juan make channels so we can have good opinions on our team. So, Juan, if you want to chime in on that too, you can. If you don't, then Yeah.
All right, so now about the junkies. Sorry that it just got dark. I gotta turn my light back on here. But about the junkies, man, I just watch it just for entertainment because like Ed said, obviously they're not fans of this team. They claim that they are, which they might very well be. But I remember one of the guys on the team on one of their little crew members did say that they are not a Redskins fan. So I know one for sure isn't a Redskins fan. But I really just watch them for entertainment. I don't take them serious. They obviously don't know a lot about the Redskins, but I mean, I really don't. I don't think too much into it, guys. Now, J.P. Finley is probably the him and John Kine are probably the only notable good source out there. I love J.P. Finley, man. He's probably the best one in the game for the Redskins. And then other than that, get your stuff from Ed Oliver, me. Pedro Smith, Street Scores, Louis T, all the guys out there on the warpath. Get your sources from us because you know that we're not going to let you down. We know we're not going to lie and just make up stories for clicks, man. So yeah, man, I really don't pay attention to the 106.7 The Fan like that. They're really just a waste of time.
That's right.
So
yep. Yeah, and that's a good way to look at it. That's why I made my YouTube channel. That's why Juan made his, so you can get an unbiased opinion about the Redskins and an honest opinion about the Redskins and somebody who actually watches the team every Sunday. Now, last year, it was hard to watch them games. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It was a rough 3-13 season, but I sat down and watched every single game. I watched the Jets game where we got killed. I watched the Giants game where we got beat up on. I watched some rough games. I went to the Cowboys game in person, sat down in there in FedExville. Shout out to my wife for giving me the tickets to that game. So I watched every game. I live streamed some games. I watched it. It was a rough season, but I remember every game just like it was yesterday for me. Shout out to Oscar Josue Montiel with the donation. I appreciate you, man. Appreciate that, big dog. All right, so now let's get to the question here about Trent Williams about the trade here. So Raekwon said those guys are undercover Cowboys. They might be. They really might be. So the question here is about the Trey Williams trade scenario. This is
Right.
somebody proposed on ESPN here. We would trade Trent Williams to the Vikings for a 4th round pick, number 112, round 4, pick 132, round 5, pick 151, and the offensive tackle Riley Reef from the Vikings. Now, Juan, would you take that trade? And how do you feel about that trade if we did accept that trade?
I mean, I really would. I would take anything at this point for Trent Williams. I really don't think it would be too bad, and I think that now, considering the fact how good we are with doing this draft stuff, I believe that I will be doing good due diligence with the 2 4th round picks that we have. We already have 2 now, so 4 4th round picks. We could literally draft half of the 4th round players available, and I know I would take anything like I said, and I know Kyle Smith is going to do his thing. We got a lot of good players in the 4th round last year, so I know he'll do his good due diligence by getting us good players. So at this point, I'm taking anything. And then Riley Reeves, he's really not that bad like a lot of people think he is. He's really decent. He played well for the Vikings last year, so I would take that pick that scenario. Like I said, I'll take anything. I know a lot of people want a 2nd round pick, but would you take 1 2nd round pick, just 1 2nd round pick, or would you take basically a haul of picks for Trent Williams? I would take that haul of 2 4th round picks and a 5th. We know how well Kyle Allen is, or should I say Kyle Smith is with drafting. So he's going to find the best talent, and maybe they'll start on this team. KJ Hill and Lamar Jackson is my favorite corner in the draft. So I think that he will do a good job by drafting if this scenario was to be true. And I think I would accept the trade scenario. Now, would you do it? That's that. Would you?
I would definitely. I'll pull the trigger today. I would be like, "Hey, we ready to go? Let's make this trade right now." I like it. 2 4ths and a 5th, and Riley Reeves. So you get a left tackle, and then you can package up those 2 4ths and trade up and maybe get another 3rd rounder. So you never know. We already have 2 4th round picks, so that's even more. So now we would have 4 4th round picks. So you can package up 3 4th rounders, or maybe that 3rd round pick we already have in the 4th, and maybe move up to the 2nd round and get another receiver or another left tackle that slips up or something like that. So I would love that trade. It's not a 2nd round pick we're getting for Trent, or a 3rd round pick, but if you look at the trajectory and the full package, to me that's an equivalent of a 2nd round pick. Honestly, you get Riley Reef, who's a veteran, and you get all those picks. So I would love that. And then maybe you could get, or another 4th round pick, you can get all the guys that you want. Maybe you just stand pat and stay with those 2 4ths. And it's such a deep wide receiver draft that you get maybe a KJ Hill or Van Jefferson or somebody like that. So I
Right.
think that would be an A plus draft right there. So we'll
Okay.
get to Ready Red. You're a Cowboys fan, so you don't know the Trent Williams situation. It's a long
It's a
story.
lot,
So
man. It's a lot. It's a lot.
it's a
So
long story, man.
yeah, so I have two things I want to say right here. One is from Adebo, I'm from the group chat. He wants to
Oh,
ask
shout
this
out
question,
Debo. Shout out.
but it's a lot going. So he messaged me. He says, if we trade back into the second round, who's the player you're getting? So basically, or he says, who if trade back in the second round, who's the player you're doing it for? And
Mhm.
then after that, I was thinking maybe if we do get this two scenario with the Vikings and get the 2 fourth round draft picks, I'm thinking maybe we package that up and trade back into the third round so we can get, maybe a Jeff Driscoll or
Mhm.
the tackle from Auburn and probably a wide receiver in Michael Pittman and or a tight end in Adam Trautman and Bryson Hopkins. So we can do two players
Mhm.
if we package those 2 4 rounds draft picks up and probably for a trade back in the third round so we can have 2 third round picks and 2 fourth round picks. That's just a scenario though. So let's answer Debo's question that he had for us. You can go first.
Um, if somebody in the second round, yeah, you get a tackle
Yeah.
like a Josh Jones or like you said Driscoll, or
Mhm.
you get a receiver. T Higgins, they said T Higgins might drop to the second. They said Justin Jefferson from LSU might drop in the second, so you can get one of them stud
Okay,
receivers.
cool.
You know,
Yeah.
Cole Kmet, the tight end out of Notre Dame, he might be a third round pick, but you could get him in a second. You could just secure him for real. There's
Mhm.
some corners. CJ Henderson from Florida, he might drop into the second round. So there's a lot of options. There's a lot of options. And that
Yeah,
would be
so
somebody said Kyler Duggar too, B9 this one
mhm.
too. So that would be a good pickup right there.
Yeah. So what I was thinking about was that, our draft is going to be great
Mhm,
already. Now, if we just add a second round pick, that's just going to make it even more better.
mhm,
The second round pick that I would go for is a tackle or maybe a guard. I'm going towards the offensive line, and then the third and fourth
mhm.
rounds, then we can address the tight end and wide receiver position. So yeah, I'm going for the best tackle available. After Chase Young, I'm going for best player available for each round, in my opinion, unless we know who we want. Shout out to Big Simple, by the way. He
Shout
said
out
as
Big
we
Simple.
lit
Shout out Big Simple.
as
Shout out to
always.
Brian Harding too, man. Shout out him.
Yeah, man. So
Um,
yeah, that's what I'm doing for second
right.
round.
Shout out to Dill too. He said Angel said KJ Hill in the third round. So we'll talk about tight ends here too, real quick. But actually, somebody else had a question. They've been asking a question. Sage and he said ACCR. What games are you looking forward to watch next year? His game is the Ravens versus Redskins. Now, Juan, which games are you looking forward to next year? If you do know the schedule, this year we play the AFC North, which is of course the Ravens, the Browns, the Steelers, and the Bungles with Joe Burrow. And then I want to say we play the Cardinals with Kyler Murray. We
Mhm.
play. I want to say we play the Panthers again, and then of course we play the terrible NFC least.
Yeah,
So
I got it pulled up right here, man.
right,
So we play the Panthers again, and that should be a fun one. Matt
right.
Rule, let's see how they're gonna use Teddy Bridgewater. I think the Panthers is really gonna be good this year, man. Their
Mhm.
whole wide receiving core is good. They have Robbie Anderson, Curtis Samuel, and then they just gave Christian McCaffrey that sack, man. They literally paid that guy. He's set for life. But the games that I'm really more, intend to go into, I might go to the Ravens game. That's the game I really want to go to because, of
Mhm.
course, I want us to win and all. I want us to win that game for sure. But I just want to see Lamar Jackson play in real life, man. That dude's stud. And of course, I'm excited for all the division games. We're going for that sweep this year, guys. We're sweeping every team. And then if I had to pick one on the AFC side too, or maybe the 49ers game, we play them again and finally in Santa Clara. So as we know it's gonna be good weather. And then other than that, that's really it. We played the Steelers, we got the Lions, we got the Browns, we got the Cardinals. The Cardinals game should be a good one considering the fact who's gonna check D Hop, man. He might kill us that game.
And Larry
And
Fitzgerald.
yep, other than that, that's really it. And Seattle, we play Seattle too at home.
Oh,
So
really?
Dunbar's
Wow.
gonna be coming back.
Oh, wow.
Um we play the Rams, And yeah, man. So I'm excited to see all these games. These should all be some good games. There are only like I want to say one winnable game on the schedule that we know going into the season that we should win. It's probably against the Bengals and or the Lions. And the Browns game should be a good one, man. See how we get out of Baker, and let's see who's gonna stick OBJ, Jarvis Landry, and all them guys. And Austin Hooper too. They just got Austin Hooper, so that should be fun. Our schedule is really fun. It's not too hard, and it's not, and it's like it's literally a lot of good games to watch, considering the fact how the season plays out. Of course.
Now,
So, yeah.
one game that does concern me just a little bit that you didn't say is that we play at the 49ers, and we do have to see Joey Bosa or
Oh
what's his
yeah,
name? Nick Bosa. We got to
Nick
see
Bosa.
Nick Bosa, and that's
Yeah.
going to be a tough matchup. I don't know who's going to be. If it's going to be Morgan Moses versus Nick Bosa, that kind of scares me a little bit. Nick Bosa against anybody right now is pretty scary, honestly. So.
Hey.
That's going to be a rough. That's going to be. We'll see. I mean, Jimmy G is kind of up and down, so that's a game we might be able to win. And every team always has that Super Bowl slump. You see how the Rams didn't play well the year after. You see how some teams just don't play. The Panthers haven't really been what they were ever since Cam Newton and them lost in the Super Bowl. So we'll see.
Right.
But the Ravens game against Lamar Jackson at home, that's going to be a really, really, really good game. Seeing Action Jackson at FedEx Field, the Battle of the Beltway, the Bungles with Joe Burrow, that's a winnable game. That should be a good game. You know, Haskins beat out Burrow in college, and then of course the
He
Panthers.
coming for his revenge, man. He coming for his revenge.
Right. So, and then Dwayne Haskins, or the Panthers, of course. You know, Happy Thanksgiving, the terrible joke by Dan Snyder. We took Ron Rivera from the Panthers, so it is a very interesting Browns with Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry. That's going to be a tough matchup with Austin Hooper, the guy that we wanted. So it's some pretty intriguing games on there. I can't wait for the real schedule to come out there, see if we do have any games at like 4:15, 8 o'clock Monday night, anything like that. So it will be interesting. So the next question here, let me see if people have questions. We're going to get to questions pretty soon in about 2 minutes here.
Yeah.
We'll probably wrap it up in about 20, 30 minutes here. But my last question here is the wide receiver class. Like what was Kenny DeMan Monster? He actually talked to me right now. He actually just said a comment here. He said at one, he said KJ Hamler, KJ Hill, or Justin Jefferson. Gotta get one of those guys. It's a must. Yeah, I like KJ Hamler. He just drops the ball a little bit. So that's concerning. KJ Hill is about 4th or 5th round. Derek JB, we don't play the Raiders this year, or Justin Jefferson. So my question to you, Juan, is what receivers do you think, we already know about the Jerry Judys of the world, the CeeDee Lambs and the Laviska Shenaults and the Henry Ruggs. Those are guys that I think we're just not going to be able to get, or even T. Higgins. After that A class, what guys in that 3rd through 6th, 7th round where you think, like guys like KJ Hill, what receivers do you think the Redskins should really strongly take up? Some sleepers that some people don't know about that we should take a look at.
So now, like I said earlier, I really want you guys in here all to go look up Isaiah Hodgins. I think the Redskins should talk to Isaiah Hodgins and look at Isaiah Hodgins because he's really a sleeper. He's going to be in the 4th, 5th round, man. I really like Isaiah Hodgins, and I really think that KJ Hill is probably the most slept on, man. I really think he could be if he had more college stats, and he had more, games played, and he was, had more hype going into the draft combine, he would be around in the 2nd round, man. I really think KJ Hill, Michael Pittman, of course. This draft class is really good, and it's a lot of receivers that should be going in the 1st round, but that are not. Justin Jefferson, I think that the Redskins should be trying an attempt in the 2nd round if we do trade or get a 2nd round pick. Michael Pittman, of course. Chase Claypool is a good option. A lot of people that are sleeping on Donovan Peoples-Jones. I like Donovan Peoples-Jones. He's a really good option too. So there's a lot of wide receivers that the Redskins should go for. But my top 3 is, of course, KJ Hill, Isaiah Hodgins, and probably Chase Claypool. If I had to go with a top 5, it would be Donovan Peoples-Jones on there and KJ Hill, of course. Like I already mentioned that earlier. So yeah, it's a lot of options that we could play with and get, man. So who do you think?
Yimmy Ben Yoda said we need a large receiver. There's Chase Claypool out of Notre Dame. I think you did say him. Clint Dix. I mean, He said Devin Duvernay out of Texas, he's nasty. He's a big receiver as well. I really like Antonio Gandy Golden out of Liberty. I like him. I like, of course, KJ Hill is a beast, another Ohio State guy. I think I wouldn't go after him until the fourth or fifth round. I wouldn't get him in the third. I think it's a little too high for KJ Hill. Same thing with Van Jefferson out of Florida. And your guy Isaiah Hodgins, I like him a lot too. I'd probably get him. I think he's around the fourth or the fifth. I think he's more into the fifth. And fifth round draft picks are really good. I want to say Jamison Crowder was a fifth round pick. I think Stephon Diggs was a fifth round draft pick. There's some really good guys in the fifth round. Like in this draft, you really don't have to get somebody in the first round. You can sit there in the third round and get a stud in this deep draft class. I mean, there's some other guys, James Prochet out of SMU, John Hightower out of Boise State. A lot of people don't know about him. Yeah,
DMV native, man.
Right.
DMV native, man.
Right.
I knew him. I knew him. He's nasty.
Yes,
yep.
So you could get in, like, say if we get that haul for Trent, you can get a tight end in the fourth. You can get another. You can get two receivers in this draft. To be honest, you can get Trey Quinn up out of here, and then you see what Cam Sims can do, and then I'd probably cut Cody Latimer, honestly, for real. So and then Alex Coy said Quez Watkins, Quintus Cephas out of Wisconsin. Somebody said Juwan Jennings out of Tennessee. He's like 6'4". Not the fastest guy, but he can really create separation and he'll body you. He's a tough guy to bring down. Now, C's up. Why trade Trent when he has to play for us this year? Trent, he can actually sit out again. There's some rules. We got to look at the rule book with the new CBA. But there's some rules saying that he can actually sit out again, but he can show up like week 8 or week 9 or something like that. And we don't want that to happen again. We'd rather get, the 2 fourths and a fifth from the Vikings and Riley Reef or something. I'd rather do that than go with this Eagle swinging contest again with Trent Williams. So my question, we'll talk about the tight ends as well. Who are some sleepers other than Cole Kmet? Who are some guys that you're looking at? I love Bryson Hopkins, but that's a guy that you're going to have to get in like the third round. Who are some guys you think we could probably get in the fourth or fifth round in the tight end spot?
No, there's only one tight end that's really a sleeper that I've been paying attention to. That's not really a sleeper, but he just doesn't have I don't like using that word, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Clout. He doesn't have that clout like everyone else has in this draft as far as the tight ends. It is David Asiasi. I really like him, man. He's probably the tallest. I think he's 6'7", and he's really a great route runner, and he can block. So I really like David Asiasi. Him, Adam Troutman is probably the only two that's really complete in both catching and blocking. Adam Troutman really loves blocking more than catching, but because he's like that George Kittle type, but he will get the job done on both ends. And I think Thaddeus Moss, considering the fact that he has that injury that he sustained at the combine, he's really going to be a sleeper. He's really going to drop. I feel bad for Thaddeus Moss because he's really supposed to go in the third round, but I think he's going to drop majorly because of that pectoral injury that he suffered. I don't remember what exactly the injury that he did sustain in the draft combine, but it did happen. So I think that he will be falling deep into the fifth, fourth round, somewhere around there. So I think he's really going to be a sleeper. So yeah, those are my tight ends list right there.
Right. Yeah, I like Thad Moss. I like Adam Troutman, of course, and guys like the guy Devin A. I mean, out of UCLA, he's a sleeper. I think he's going to be there in the fifth round. There's of course Cole Kmet is going to be going. Albert O is probably going to be going in the third round. There's a sleeper named Dalton Keene out of Virginia Tech. He might be there in the seventh round or something like that. Mitchell Wilcox, Harrison Bryant. People say this tight end class isn't that good, but there's some guys that you can get in the fourth or fifth round. Cheyenne O'Grady out of Hunter Bryant. I've heard you talk about Hunter Bryant in some of your videos. Samuel Brown, thank you for reminding me about Hunter Bryant. Hunter Bryant is a beast. He's a really good receiving tight end. Blocking, not so much. But his catching, he's like another receiver out there. They compare him to Jordan Reed, basically. But, of course, Jordan Reed with the injuries and things like that. Hunter Bryant would be a great pickup for us. I think we should get Kenny Demand the Monster to Adam Troutman. I love Adam Troutman. I really hope we can get him maybe in the fourth round. I don't know if we want to get him in the third round. I would love to get Adam Troutman in the fourth round. That's just how I feel about the tight ends right there. So I think we'll start getting to the chat here. We'll start mixing it up with the people in the chat. Shout out to Big Nick, shout out to Big Nick, shout out to Angel, shout out to C's up.
Yeah, it's a question right there. I don't know how to pronounce their name, but it says, "What are we doing with Kerrigan? No updates on him yet." So there's not any updates that we really know of. But I think he's going to, at this time and point, he will be on this team next year, which isn't bad because I love the veteran presence that he does bring, and he's going to be in the 4-3 again. So he's probably going to be dominant. And I want to touch on his defensive line before we get to the comments. People don't know how dominant our defensive line is. They just look at Jonathan Allen and Matt I, or should I say Deron Payne, but they don't know who our rotation is. Matt Ioannidis, he goes anywhere else, he's a starter for sure. Tim Settle, it's a lot of great. Our rotation is nasty for the defensive end, the interior defense, and also the edge rushers that we have in with Chase Young. Now, the question that I have for my man Dylan, that's in the group chat, also shout out to Dylan. He sent me a question. His question, he says, "How many sacks you got Chase having next season, and do you see him as a Pro Bowler?" Ed, you can answer this first, and then I'll give my take on this. So, yeah.
That's a good question from my man Dill. Shout out to Dill. He already has a Washington Panthers shirt. He wears it all the time. I got to get my hands on a Washington Panthers shirt too.
Crimson Tide too.
Yeah, Washington Crimson Tide, or Washington, Ohio State Buckeyes, and all that. But Chase Young right now, I mean, I'm if it was Greg Manubsky, then I would say Chase Young would probably have like 8 sacks. But now since it's Del Rio, yeah, Greg Bumsky. If it was Del Rio, now since it's Del Rio, I see Chase getting like 10 sacks, and that's pretty good for a rookie. Because I remember Khalil Mack, he really didn't have a lot of sacks his first year. Myles Garrett, he started off a little slow. You look at Jadeveon Clowney, not every rookie's going to come out there and show out all the time, So I'll put Alexander Wilson, name your skins all decade team for the 2010s. We'll get to that next. That's a good question.
Like that right there. That's a good question.
But yeah, I see Chase getting about 10. I see Montez getting about 10 as well. I see both of them getting 10. That's what I see.
Says Albert O for tight end. I like Albert O.
Mm-hmm. Now, Alex, I guess I'll go with my team right now for the 2010s quarterback. It's only really 2 quarterbacks that we had that did anything for us in the 2010s. Of course, RG3 with the magical year in 2012, and then Kirk Cousins took to the playoffs in 2015. And only, both quarterbacks didn't win a playoff game. Kirk was okay. He was kind of a stat patter, if you will. But I think Kirk was cool. He was good, but I guess I'll take RG3 for that magical year. A healthy RG3. I'll take him.
I was waiting for that. A healthy RG3.
A healthy RG3. I'll take him over Kirk Cousins any day, of course. And then at wide receiver, I don't know if Santana Moss. No, I was, of course, Deshaun Jackson. I love Terry already, so I might throw him, in there too. And then Pierre Garçon.
You don't think Santana's gonna be on there?
I think Santana's more of the 2000s. I think he's more of the 2000s.
Okay, yeah. 2010s, yeah.
2010s, I don't know, but I love Santana. But Santana's definitely the best receiver in the 2000s. Like when we had Mark Brunell and guys like that, he was definitely the best receiver on the team by far. But it's probably Pierre, Deshaun, and Terry for the 2010s.
That's nasty right there, man. A healthy Deshaun Jackson? Oh my Lord, man. What?
Yeah, Deshaun, Terry McLaurin, and Pierre Garçon. Like that's the best. Like you get a speed receiver with Deshaun, you get Pierre, right, a possession receiver, and then you got a good, like, Terry can play slot. That's what he did at Ohio State, so that would just be nasty.
And then a healthy Jordan Reed, 2015 Jordan Reed. Oh my man, we would literally run the NFL. I'm sorry, at offensive averaging 20 points a game. Fact. But left tackle, like you were saying, of course, you know who that is.
Of course, the guy that doesn't want to be here, the guy that it's looking like it was about the money the whole time. Like I said, I'm not going to speak too much on the subject, but it looks like it was kind of about the money. Derek JB's making jokes talking about Josh Doxson. Don't get me started on Josh Doxson. Please don't get me started on the guy. And right tackle, we don't really have much to choose from. I guess it's probably Morgan. We didn't really have another right tackle. Brandon Sheriff, of course. Center, I guess, Chase Roullier.
I like Chase Roulier over Corey Littensteiger. Wasn't either.
Right.
I think he was and I think Sean Laval should be at left guard or.
Or Eric Flowers for 1 year, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're gonna put Eric Flowers there, but I think I like Sean Laval before. But when he was very really decent before he got hurt, and I'm only gonna give him the edge only because he had more years than Eric Flowers. But if Eric Flowers did play at least 2 years, he would be on the list.
Right. Oh, running back Rico Project, Alfred Morris for running back for sure. And then we'll go tight end, of course, Jordan Reed, and then you might want to throw Vernon Davis in there too in the mix. And then for defense, our corners. I hate to say D'Angelo because D'Angelo's been talking that BS for real, but I guess D'Angelo Hall and safeties, DJ Swearinger. We all love DJ Swearinger. He was a dog. He was a beast. For real, and linebackers. Leonard Fletcher was a dog. He was a beast for a couple of years, and that's really it for me. The other positions like free safety, we haven't had a good free safety in a long time for real. We thought Monte Nicholson was going to be the guy, but he ended up getting in trouble and whatnot and got cut. And our corners really haven't been that great. We haven't really had a lot of shutdown corners in a long time. And then defensive line, Brian Arakpo. You can throw him in there. Matt Ioannidis he's been a beast. I did like swaggy Chris Baker. I did like him, and I like Ricky John Francois a little bit. I like him a little bit too. For real,
Ricky
but
Jean.
Ricky Jean and Kerrigan, of course. Alex Quinn said Kerrigan. And you can throw in the Bama boys with John Allen, Deron Payne, guys like that. So that would be my all-decade team.
Mine's is similar. I ain't gonna go over it because then we're gonna be here for another hour, which I don't have a problem with. But I know you're a busy man, so probably got something to do. But me, I can go 24 hours.
Right. All right, so we'll get back to 2020. What's going on with the draft and whatnot? And then I'll ask you a funny question. What was your reaction when Bruce Allen got fired?
Oh, we know what my reaction was. If you want to see a classic reaction, he says, "What about Matt Jones?" Matt Jones had a decent year. I honestly, him and Robert Kelly, they had one good year. I don't know who I would take between them two because they both had one good year. But back to the Bruce Allen thing, man, you know how I felt. If you haven't, go look at my reaction video and of course Ed's video. We were oh my Lord, man, you don't know. It felt like Christmas, and I think it was around that time too. That was probably the best Christmas gift I got, man. Bruce Allen gone, so my reaction was, man, we was livid, and like in a good way though. I don't think there was one Redskins fan on this earth that wanted Bruce Allen back, and if you did, then you're just a lunatic, man. I'm sorry to say it. Need to go get checked, man.
Now, John Carter said, "What if Tua is available at number 66 in the draft?" That's a good question too, honestly.
Trade bait.
Yeah, and I really like Jalen Hurts. I really do, but since we already got Kyle Allen, I just don't see us drafting another quarterback. I don't even think we would draft like one in the 6th or 7th round. I don't think we would draft anybody, honestly. And they did meet with Jordan Love out of Utah State. I don't know if you heard about that one, but they did meet with him. They had like a virtual meeting or something like that.
Yeah, I seen that.
Yeah, and they did meet up with what's his name? Zach Moss, the running back too. They did meet up with him. So we already have like 7 running backs on the roster. So that was
7. I feel bad for the 2 that's gonna have to get cut.
Right, yeah. So Alice Wilson, thank you for another donation. That's 4 right there. He's hitting buckets all over.
Davis Berton, man. Davis Berton. 3-point contest.
Yeah. He said Cousins was a stat pattern, question mark. He should still be the quarterback if the Skins didn't screw up. His 2019 year was really good. Also, he won a playoff. He got us to the play. He did get us to the playoffs one year. He did. I like Kirk. I don't hate Kirk. I really don't. I don't think Kirk is that great. He might be a top 10 quarterback. If he's not top 10, then he's probably like a number 11 or number 12 in the league. But Kirk, there were some times where we were down and we would get down by like 10, 20 points. Next thing you know, we would come back and then lose by like 5 or something like that. But Kirk was good for winning, 7, 8 games or 9 games. We actually should have went to the playoffs. The year we went 8-7-1, we should have made the playoffs that year. But I think Dustin Hopkins
folded.
Yeah, he missed. Yeah, he choked it up. But Kirk is cool, man. I mean, he still hasn't done better than what Case Keenum did with the Vikings. You got to get to an NFC Championship. All that money you're getting paid, and you still haven't surpassed what Case Keenum did in Minnesota. I mean, Case Keenum is trash to me, but at least Case Keenum got the team with Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen and Kyle Rudolph and Dalvin Cook and that nasty defense. At least Case Keenum got that team to the NFC Championship, and Kirk Cousins still hasn't been able to do that. So, that's just how I feel about Kirk Cousins.
So what I feel about Kirk Cousins, like you said, man, I really think Kirk should still be this quarterback, not for the team. Not to mention, he finished 5th in MVP voting last year. Kirk had a great season last year. He went into New Orleans and won that game. Now I love Kirk. I think he should still be the quarterback for this team because he stayed healthy and he was really good. Kirk Cousins is a really good quarterback, man, and now he didn't show up in the big games for us. We should have, like I said, 2015, we lost that game versus the Packers in the playoffs. I blame it on Deshaun Jackson to this day because when he tried to taunt going into the end zone, he cost us that game, and that's where the whole momentum just shifted. In 2016, we should have made it to the playoffs too, but of course he folded with 1 minute left. I literally was on the phone with my friend. We were watching the game, and my heart literally shattered that game because it was like, I don't know if you guys like that are that emotionally tied to the Redskins, how I am, man. I'm just like, I was literally heartbroken. I was like speechless, like, man, we should have made it to playoffs, and then we would have played the Packers again that following week, probably either the Packers or I wanted to say the Cowboys that year because they had the first seed. So we would have played one of them two teams, and I think we would have given them some serious competition. Now this year should be very great to watch, considering the fact that Kirk Cousins isn't going to have Stephon Diggs to throw to anymore. Now a lot of teams are going to just key on Adam Thielen, and Adam Thielen is starting to become, I want to say injury prone, but he's starting to become injured a lot. So it should be interesting to see what Kirk does, man. $84 million, you need to have a Super Bowl ring by now because you're getting paid all this money, and you just got another extension. So I mean, dude, you need to be winning some playoff games consistently, first round buys and all.
Right. Yeah, Nick. I don't think Alex Smith will play football again. And then Nathaniel Elazar said, "What wide receivers should the Redskins look at in the third round?" We did talk about that. Brandon Ayuk is a guy from Arizona State. He might fall into the third round. I don't think he will, but I really wish he would drop. I love Brandon Ayuk out of Arizona State. There's Devin DuVernay out of Texas. There's Michael Pittman out of USC. There's Chase Claypool out of Notre Dame. There's a lot of guys right there that might fall in. We do have the second pick of the third round. So, I mean, we can really pick the best. Frank Holmes and Antonio Gandy Golden. I think you can get him in the 4th and 5th round. So that's how I feel about that one.
Yeah, so I mean, we talked about our wide receiver who we should get in the third round. My personal opinion, I don't think we should get a wide receiver in the third round. I think we should go for Jeff Driscoll if he's still there. I think is his first name Jeff Driscoll, or is that I think that's the Lions quarterback, Jeff Driscoll.
Yeah, that's the Lions quarterback. Yeah,
The Auburn guard or
his name is Jack Driscoll.
Jack Driscoll. I've been saying Jack Driscoll this whole time. Jack Driscoll. I think we should get him in the third round, and then the 4th round we need to get a tight end, of course, and then maybe the 5th round we go wide receiver, or 3rd round we should get wide receiver because this second round pick that is really debating on who we should get at 3rd round. If we really get a 2nd round pick for Trent Williams, then that's when we want to have a lot of options expanded. But this 3rd round, not having a 2nd round is really clogging up what we should do in the 3rd round, or if we get 2 3rd round picks, that would be also good. So I'm more towards get a wide receiver 3rd round or Jack Driscoll, and then the 4th round we go for more of a tight end, and then 5th round we draft Lamar Jackson. I really love Lamar Jackson. He's probably the most slept on corner in this draft, man. He could really come in here and compete for a starting job. I think he will win a starting job if he come in here. Lamar Jackson is just great, man, in my opinion. So yeah.
Right. Now somebody just made a comment about Antonio Brown. Beans. Don't get me started on Antonio Clown, man. I'm telling you, we do not need Antonio Clown. That would be the last thing to bring somebody like that on this team, man. Somebody who, had frostbite with their feet, had a yellow mustache, had the helmet thing going on. I mean, the guy just can't even stay on the field. Throws his teammates under the bus. Last person I want is Antonio Clown on this team. So, um, Nick Flair said, "Have y'all seen Dwayne has put in the work this all season? Boy, getting yeah, I like it. I like it. I think he's getting in shape. He's been running the treadmill and doing that and studying the playbook as much as he can since they just got the playbook, virtual playbook or whatever. So I like that Dwayne's been staying in the gym and getting ready, staying on the field. You know." Michael Gaither said, "What do you think our D would look like with Chase Young?" Juan, I'll let you go first, and I'll answer that after you.
Now, before you said what our defense is gonna look like with Chase Young.
Yeah.
Hold on, give me 1 second. Let me answer this right quick.
I like that profile picture of Michael Gaither, man. My man got the Iron Man Redskin as the profile picture. That's a tough pick.
All right, my bad for the interruption. We back. So you said what the defense is gonna look like with Chase Young?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so our D line is gonna look with Chase Young is probably, of course, Sweat on the other end, him, Chase Young.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the front two is going to be Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne, of course, with Matt Ioannidis substituting. And yeah, that's really what the D line is going to consist of, man. So other than that, and now the crazy thing that I want to talk about is what if we don't get Chase Young and then Isaiah Simmons is off the board.
Mm-hmm.
I know we said they were going to go with a Jeffrey Okudah, but what are some other players that you would look to take at number 5 other
Mm-hmm.
than Jeffrey Okudah?
Other than Ja, I'm trying to. I haven't even thought that is a weird position. If say like the Lions take Chase, we trade back. The Lions take Chase. I mean, Jeffrey would be there, but I guess hypothetically, if he is not there, number
Mm-hmm.
6, I'll probably get a left tackle. I'll probably get either Andrew Thomas, Mekhi Becton, or Tristan Wirfs out of Iowa. I'd probably get a left tackle. Probably get one of those guys. Or I still really, really like Jerry Jeudy for some. I was watching him play against Michigan.
He has 6
That's really, really high.
or 5th, I should say 5th.
At 5th. I mean, like you said, Jeff Okudah's gone. Isaiah Simmons is gone. So, I mean, of course, like I said, I would go with a left tackle. I would go Andrew Thomas or Mekhi Becton or Josh Jones, one of those guys, Tristan Wirfs, one of the left tackles that are available. Samuel Brady said CeeDee Lamb. But say you trade back, you could get Jerry at 5, and then at 18 you can still get a tackle. You get Josh Jones. You get Cole Kmet at 25. So I mean, if you do get Jeudy, because Jerry Judy's not going to be there at 18. That's a fact. You're not going to get him at 18. So if we got Jerry, like I said, if Chase Young is going, Isaiah Simmons is going, Jeffrey Okudah is going by 5, and you could get possibly Jerry Jeudy or somebody like that. That's pretty nasty. But number 5, you have to get Simmons or you have to get Okudah. You have to get one of those guys.
Yeah, he says I would get Isaiah Simmons and trade back.
Oh, if we trade back, yeah, I saw it. There's that Angel Rojas. B9 said, "What if the Bengals take Chase Young?" You just trade back. You trade because everybody's gonna want Joe Burrow. Everybody's gonna want Joe Burrow. So
now, what would be interesting? What would be interesting is if, say, we do select Joe Burrow, but use him as trade bait. Like, I wonder what we would get for him other than picks.
Mm-hmm.
Get a star player or something, maybe. Who knows? That would be interesting to see. But I hope that the Bengals don't chase Chase Young. I think they are going to take Joe Burrow just because of similar situation. Just like us, we have a hometown kid coming back to his hometown team, and Joe Burrow will be going back to Ohio as far as the Bengals. So yeah, man,
Right. Ready, Red said we got 2 first. Now we only have 1 first round pick. We got a number 2. We got the second pick of the draft. We don't even have a second rounder right now. So we got 1. Ty said wide receiver, too many of them are a bust in the first round. I think Jerry Jeudy is going to be a dog. I think he's going to be a good player. I think CeeDee Lamb's going to be a good player. I think all those guys. Henry Ruggs is going to be a beast. So this is like the best wide receiver class in years. It might be hyped, but I don't think it is. Sam Dahl said, "Where do you think Justin Herbert's going to go?" I think he's going to go to the Chargers.
Said Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna go to the Chargers. I mean, they who did they pick up in free agency? Did they pick up anybody? I don't think they did. As far as quarterback,
They didn't
I don't.
get any quarterback. I think their biggest free agent signing was Chris Harris Jr., and that's a cornerback. But the quarterback
Yeah.
position, they have Tyrod Taylor. They
Mm-hmm.
said that they trust Tyrod. I don't know if I 100% believe that, but if they get Justin Herbert, then yeah, he can sit behind Tyrod for like 1 year, and
How could you pass up on a Justin Herbert, man? He's throwing 70 yards on a knee. Like, how could you pass up on that, man? Like, what,
yeah,
dude? He
yeah.
says, "Is Charlie 13 says is Eli a Hall of Famer?" Now, ooh, I think he is. Personally, I think he is.
Yeah, I think he I think Eli might be a Hall of Famer. Now another question, Yemi Ben Yahada said, why are we talking about trading back? Simmons can be taken at number two. He's talented enough to be worth a number two. Now, we'd be the laughing stock of the league if we took Isaiah Simmons at number two. And Isaiah
Mhm.
Simmons could be another generational talent. He's compared to Sean Taylor. I think he's a beast. We all heard what Clinton Porter said about Isaiah Simmons being a beast, being a dog. Clinton Porter said he would take him at number two over Chase Young. Now,
Oh,
I wouldn't do that. I would definitely wouldn't do that. Now, Isaiah Simmons is good, but you have a tier one player in Chase Young who's a pass rusher who's more important than Isaiah Simmons at the linebacker position. So
uh-huh.
you really can't pass up on Chase Young at number two. Now like I
Yeah.
said, we'd probably be the laughing stock of the league if we took Isaiah Simmons at number two and pass up on Chase Young, which you could actually you can trade back and possibly get Isaiah Simmons. So it
Yeah,
would be
man.
foolish. You would be doing two things. You would mess up a trade back situation, and you would miss out on a generational talent if you take Isaiah Simmons at number two. So that's just how I feel about that. I wouldn't make that move.
Yeah, guaranteed generational talent. But as that is, and then Isaiah Simmons is he could also be a generational talent, but we know that for sure. Chase Young is a generational talent that is, and you can go ahead and read that by Nolan Gross. Shout out Nolan Gross.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nolan said, "What do you think Scary Terry will do this season? He had almost 1,000 yards. Now I love."
2,000 yards, 2,000 yards, 2,000 yards, man. This is Haskins' MVP year. I'm telling you, y'all. I'm telling you, get Haskins anytime he has time in the pocket. You see what he does. My boy isn't gonna be overthrowing nobody this year. Terry is gonna have 2,000 plus yards. If I'm being more realistic, 1,500 yards and probably 13 touchdowns because he should have had well over 10 touchdowns.
Mhm.
I think that Kyler Murray, giving Kyler Murray Rookie of the Year was a little reach. I think they just did it just because he was the only quarterback that was really good. In a way, I know Daniel Jones was decent, but I think that really, if I'm being honest, the Rookie of the Year should have went to AJ Brown or Josh Jacobs. But if Terry McLaurin would have had a sustainable quarterback and a stable quarterback, he would have ran away with the Rookie of the Year voting.
Mhm.
That's me.
Right. Yeah, I agree, man. I think he should eclipse 1,000 yards for sure. If not 1,000, then probably like 950 where he was last year. Um, barring that he stays healthy, not gonna win once again. He played 16 games. I mean, I think Dwayne and him are getting a lot better chemistry. I think in the beginning when he got in there, he was overthrowing Terry. Like the Lions game was pretty bad. And he missed Terry on a couple throws, but I think they're going to get that chemistry. I really wish they could have worked out more this offseason. This pandemic really sucks because they haven't really been able to work out like that. I did see Haskins working out with Darius Geis. So, I mean, if Terry McLaurin can try to get to Virginia or DC, I hope he can for real to work out
Mhm.
with Dwayne. I hope he can so they can get the chemistry there and whatnot. So, I mean, they should have it because of Ohio State anyway. But,
Yeah.
I think he should at least get 1,000 yards.
Yeah, man. Of course, I Darius Geis and Haskins, they both live in Virginia. I'm not sure that Terry does. He probably is back home in Indiana, of course.
Mhm.
But yeah, like you said, if he can, I really just want one day or at least 1 week. Haskins said he was gonna do this, but of course the pandemic messed it up. He was gonna have a week with just him and the receivers, which would be cool. I really hope they can do that in the summertime, probably let's say June, early June. I hope mini camp happens so these guys can get out there together because if they get that chemistry down pack, man, I see Haskins going for at least 40 touchdowns, man. Honestly, I really do.
Yeah, Barbie Scarfo said, I want to see Dak get squashed by Chase and Jonathan Allen. Yes, sir. We definitely want to see that happen. Let's see here. What questions we got? We'll talk about the NFC East real quick. This will probably be the last one, and then we'll probably end the stream after this last question, and we'll try to do another stream maybe next week before the draft or after the draft or something like that. So Pat Collins said expectations for the NFC least as a whole.
Okay, I like this right here. I like
Yeah.
this right. This is where I can be unbiased. You can go ahead and answer that if you want first, or you want me to go first. It's up to you. This is where I can be unbiased as possible and give my honest opinion. So you want me to go first, or you can lead it off. It's up to you.
Hold on, I'll shout out somebody. Key himself finally got into the chat. Finally we're about to end. He came in a little late. We'll answer his question next, and then that will be the last one. So yeah, I'll let you go first on this one.
All right, so let me get a Dylan Smith question right here. He says, Ed, what will our record be? We can both answer that after we give this right here. So my expectations for the NFC as a whole, who will win it, will of course be, sorry to say, guys, I don't want to let you down, but it will be the bum Philadelphia Eagles, of course. They're the most complete team. Although I feel bad for Carson Wentz because they're sabotaging his career. Now, a lot of people don't like to take EDP serious. They just watch him for entertainment. But although he does use vulgar language, he does know what he's talking about, and he says they're sabotaging him. They're not getting Carson Wentz the right weapons around him. They do have a Zach Ertz, and other than that, that's really the only weapon that they really have. Alshon Jeffrey is horrible. Deshaun Jackson can never stay on the field, but when he is on the field, he's really a deep ball threat. And they're getting Henry Ruggs. I really hope they don't get Henry Ruggs, but they will. They're most likely going to be getting Henry Ruggs. So they're the most complete team. They have the best offensive line in all of football and in this division. Other than that, their defense is really questionable, but I think they just have the most complete team. They just lost. I think they lost Malcolm Jenkins to the Saints. He's going back to where the team that drafted him. So I think that the Eagles will be winning this division once again for the third straight year. Now coming in second place, I have the Dallas Cowboys coming in second place. I think it's going to be a dogfight to the end. You know how bad the NFC East is as a whole. So I can see them winning this division. The Eagles, that is 7-9. Once again, I think every team in this division this year will have a chance to win this division, and I think it's going to be a lot closer than what everyone is expecting it to be. And then third place, I had the Washington Redskins coming in. I have us being more realistically 7-8. And I have 2021 being our year. Last place, I have the bum Giants. Of course, I hate the Giants with a passion. Daniel Jones is going to have a good year, but he's just not going to have that weapons around him that they need to put more weapons around him. They have Saquon Barkley, of course, and they have a lot of good young receivers, as do we do. So I see the Redskins and the Giants being the takeover of the NFC East in a couple of years, just not as of right now. Now, my bias side, I have the Redskins finishing first, and of course, and then I have the Giants finishing second. Man, I really believe that these two teams will be the next team that run the 2020s, that is, or this next decade right here. So yeah, man, Redskins will win the division this year.
So Key himself said diapers for the baby. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate the donation. I should be able to get at least one diaper with the $2. Down South VA in North Carolina said, "What's up, Ed? What it do? Hope you and the family being safe." Yeah, man, I appreciate that, man. Definitely, you too, man. Be safe out there. Make sure you guys wash your hands, and you got to wear a mask now just to go into the store or go to the grocery store. They don't let you into the grocery store without a mask now. It's crazy. It's getting really real out here, man. My thoughts about the NFC East, and then we probably will end on this one. My thoughts about the NFC East. I really didn't see anybody get better. I didn't see the Cowboys get better from free agency. I didn't really see the Eagles. The Darius Slay trade was okay, but it didn't really impress me. I feel like he might be another Nnamdi Asomugha, another bust, like another Byron Maxwell, another bust cornerback signing for the Eagles. They just don't really do well with bringing in corners. And, Terry McLaurin was cooking Darius Slay in the Lions game. Like, he got separation on him all the time. Like, he should have had over 100 yards in that game, in that Lions game.
He said it himself in his live stream or on his story. He said the Redskins got him one. So, yeah, man.
Right. So, and the Giants, they got James Bradbury. I mean, that's a good signing. It didn't really impress me. That's a guy that we kind of wanted. We thought we were going to get him with Ron Rivera coming here, the Panthers away, and the Carolina Panthers. But James Bradbury, that doesn't really impress me. They still got Danny Fumbles. They got Golden Tate, Sterling Shepard, and they didn't really get much better. Carson was in the Eagles. They didn't really, like I said, they didn't get much better. The Cowboys didn't. They re-signed Amari Cooper. They got Gerald McCoy, the defensive tackle. He's kind of old. and they let Robert Quinn walk. And Robert Quinn was good for the Cowboys last year. He was actually a good pass rusher for them. So I mean, the Giants, they do have Evan Ingram, Ty. They do have him, but he's kind of like Jordan Reed. He's always injured, concussions and getting injuries all the time. So, but I do think the bum Eagles are going to win the division. I just think they have the better quarterback at Carson Wentz. I think Carson Wentz is just a little bit better than Dak Prescott, not a lot better, but I think he is better than Dak Prescott. So I just think that they'll win on that, and they have experience, especially with a shortened off season. They're running the same playbook, the same plays. Everybody else has a new coach, like Mark McCarthy, Joe Judge Judy for the Giants, and then we got Ron Rivera. That's the big advantage that the Eagles do have. I see the Eagles maybe going like 10-6 or 11-5 at the most, but their receiving core is really, because Deshaun Jackson, you don't know what's going to happen with him. You don't know what's going to happen with Alshon Jeffrey. So I mean, it's a toss up again. Honestly, it really is. But the rosters, yeah, Philly. I mean, Dallas has the most talented roster, of course, with Zeke and Amari. And then the Eagles, they're just more reliable a little bit with Carson. So that's just how I feel about the NFC leagues. So I think we'll probably be like third or second.
Now let's say this. Let's just hope in 9 months we're wrong, fellas. Let's just hope we're at the top of the mountain. Haskins sitting on his lion, man. MVP Haskins in the building, man. And like, I want to say this about Terry. Terry, they're saying he owns Slay, which he does. Terry is probably the only wide receiver, and this is not me being, trying to be biased because I love Terry. He's literally probably the only wide receiver last year that literally torched Stephon Gilmore. If you know who Stephon Gilmore, he was the defensive player of the year last year. He's probably the only one that put him on skates. Now, I do have two comments. One, I invited my friends here to watch. They says, you guys should do another stream together. Y'all have good chemistry on a talk show. And he's like, you should make a talk show in the future. I said, that's coming in the future. And our boy Swerve J says, hopefully, Juan, you have 1,000 subs by the end of 2020. That is the ultimate goal, Jason, if you're watching. So make sure you guys thumbs up the stream for my boy Ed Oliver. Get him to 7K. He's literally almost there. I know everyone in the stream that's watching isn't subscribed. So make sure you guys go down below. Leave a sub for my boy Ed Oliver.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that, man. Make sure you guys sub up Juan. I did put his link in the description. I'll put it in there again. All right, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. That's Juan Gotti talking sports. Another guy from PG County, man. All right, y'all. Peace. Hail to them Skins.